Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. I know it's been a while since I made a Steam Deck video, so today I just kind of wanted to sit back, chill, give you my thoughts and opinions, about having a Steam Deck now, and kind of give you an update because I feel, honestly, it's been way too long of a time, and while I do that, watch me play some games here. And if you notice, I do have an Xbox controller plugged into the deck, and the deck is docked. Anyways, with that out of the way, let's go ahead and get started. So, for those of you who don't know, I've had a Steam Deck now since just after Thanksgiving of last year, and I have been playing a lot of it. There's just so many great things about the deck that I really feel like I do need to talk about and kind of get across. Because if you haven't had it, if you don't own a Steam Deck, I'm going to be totally honest, now is the time to go ahead and buy it. And we're going to go ahead and get into that. I believe, too, at the time of making this video, that Valve does have that 10% off sale, which I think is incredible. That the deck itself is, under $400. I mean, that is just insane. That is just crazy, and unheard of, in my opinion, for what you get. Now, first, let's start off of why I like the deck so much. Well, one of the things that I really like about the deck is they make PC gaming so easy. And what I mean by that, literally, you can just go in, launch your games, pick a game. Most of the games that I have right out of the box, I'm going to be totally honest, they've worked. The only game I really have not been able to get to work really at all is Wolfenstein 3D. And to be quite honest, when I did play that game again on my PC, I forgot how janky the controls were compared to Doom. But you can tinker with things. The other game really that hasn't been able to work that good for me is Titan Souls. Without getting into much detail, that game plays once and then it doesn't load in. But anyway, still, two games out of the many that I've tried, I really can't complain. So that's the first thing, is that Valve has just made it so super easy. They've honestly done what Apple's done with iTunes. What they did back in the day by making gaming. Yes, you're still gonna have some of those games that don't work, but of course, I think that's gonna be like way far and few between. The second thing that I like about the Steam Deck itself is that, I mean, it's a portable unit. You can be comfortable. You can sit on the couch. For me personally, I do apologize too. By the way, I'm getting over a cold. I was saying, for me personally, I work on a computer all day. For my for my 8 hour a day job, I'm just like tied to a computer. Yeah, I try to get away here from there, but being that I'm on a computer all day, the last thing I want to do is sit and game, at that same desk on a different computer, of course. But the Steam Deck lets me take it anywhere in the house. I don't really travel with my deck. I did last Christmas when I went to my brother-in-law's. It was nice to be able to bring with me. The case that it came with was like super sturdy and super great. But yeah, otherwise it just pretty much stays at home. Use it around the house. I can be super comfortable. I can play it in bed. So the portability. And I will say, with that, the build quality on this thing, it really is good. It feels great in the hand. Me personally, I think it feels better than my PS4 controller. It's that high quality build. The controls are spot on. The D-pad is really good. And Valve has done their research, the placement of everything. When I first looked at the Steam Deck, admittedly, I thought that having all the controls and everything placed at the end wasn't going to work, but this thing is comfortable. I mean, you do need to get used to the weight just a little bit, but once you get used to the weight, I mean, this thing is just friggin' comfortable as hell. I have no issues at all. The way that like it ventilates heat, everything is like set up just so perfectly. It's very well engineered and designed. It's definitely like a million times better quality per se than like a Switch, for sure. I just figured I would, throw that out there. I mean, yeah, it's even better quality than my Evercade, but of course, there's a big price difference there. So, moving on, other thing that I like about the platform is it is completely open. Valve doesn't care if you buy games from their store. I mean, obviously they want you to. You can load other launchers, like for the Epic Store. You can load emulation. You can do all types of things with this device. Hell, you can load games just straight. Just straight themselves if you really want to tinker with it that much. They don't close it down like other consoles. They keep it completely open. There's no exclusives. Blaze was just, I'm sorry, not Blaze. My I'm going to record Evercast, which is on my primary channel, which is an Evercade podcast. So if you're wondering why my brain is on that, that's why. Anyways, transitioning back forward. So Valve is just really smart. They know they can take a loss of this. You're gonna buy the console. You're gonna get it for the games. And I mean, admittedly, even having the console myself, it's just I've gotten more games than I normally would. It makes it super easy. As I said before, it's like the Apple of but for games, yeah. So kind of changing things in another direction. Talked about the openness. Talked about no exclusives. The other thing that I think is really nice is that the community itself has really just taken an interest in making this device even better. And what do I mean by that? Well, let me show you here. All right, so let's go ahead and go down, and we're going to talk about plugins. So if you own a deck, if you haven't added the Decky Loader plugin, you really need to. There's just so many things, power tools. You can go in and you can, of course, sometimes, probably because I'm playing a game, it's not going to show now. You can go in, you can tweak the processors and the speed. You can change the themes. You can plug it in and transfer files here. You can change images. I'm not going to go through all these. Hook in external controllers. And then, in addition to that, Valve has built in natively, you can go ahead and you can tweak the power. Like this game, the watts is down to 3. No reason to have a really good don't really need a good graphics card and everything else. So yeah, you can definitely really, tweak the hell out of this thing. And on top of that, highly recommend too, Cryo Utilities. I'll go ahead and do a search of that YouTuber. He's gone ahead and created a script that will let you use more memory, use your VRAM, and then you can change your settings in your video card, and you can bump that up to 4 gigs for the APU, and there's other tweaks to memory and whatnot. It's just freaking incredible. And I have the 64 gig model, and I was still able to squeeze out some space. I believe in his scripts too. You can move files to your micro SD card. What I've gone ahead and done is I've created symlinks with myself. But that's my point though, is you can use the Steam Deck however you want. You can use it stock, out of the box, never change, never tweak anything, and just use the settings to play your games. Or you can go ahead and just play it the way that you want. And I love that they did that. In addition to, I'd say going into the games and choosing to turn off shadows or turning down to lower settings or tweaking things that way, you can adjust the battery life. Again, like a true PC, you can really tweak it. Although it doesn't really feel like a PC to me. It kind of feels more like a customized gaming console running Linux. I mean, that's really what it is. But you can go ahead and you can do these great things to it. And so for people who just like to play out of the box, and for geeks like me, you'll see at the top that bar. I love how Blaze added that. That has made it so much easier to tweak games and to see things on the fly. I love knowing how much battery I have, how many watts the game is used, how much CPU memory, all those really just super geeky things are just awesome, right? And I love how they went ahead and just did that for power users, if you will. Another thing I like about the Steam Deck, I'm not gonna lie, is the Steam sales of all the platforms. Steam games go on, a lot cheaper, more often. I remember a PS4, they just really don't go on sale too often. You just have to kind of wait. But if you know where to look, you can get legit keys, and they just go on sale more often and a lot sooner, which is fantastic. You're gonna go ahead and save a lot. And with that, I think I mentioned this before, and I came back to kind of playing PC games after I was switched over to console for 5 years or more. I had a lot of saves. A lot of saves are still there in the cloud from Valve. They're games that don't even sell in the store anymore. I can still download because I bought them. We all hear about that the Nintendo store is going away for the Wii U and 3DS. I'm sure the PS4 store will go away. But that's my point though. With Valve, they're here to stay. The store is going to be there. I love that. You can buy games in confidence. I've said this before. The PS4 buying digital games, I honestly felt like, maybe I was kind of renting them or I wasn't going to have them forever. Because who knows? With this, yeah, as long as Valve is going to be in business, knock on wood. There's, we're gonna have the games here, so there's no There's no worries, and so I love that. I mean, what else can I say that I haven't said that I like about this? Oh, this is an indie powerhouse. Oh my god, this is an indie powerhouse. Pretty much all your indie games, you know, are gonna play just really well. I get about an average of 4 or 5 hours of battery life, and games like this Double Dragon 4 didn't even really know about playing this in widescreen. Um, great great discovery here. So your indie games, you'll notice like a lot of my library here. These are pretty much all, uh, for the most part, indie games, and they run really well. You get really great and fantastic battery life. Sorry, just sipping my coffee there. And yeah, I'm not the kind of person who plays, like I say, AAA, very many AAA games. I know battery life in that is more diminished from what I hear, but again, you can tweak it. You know, like something like this, like a Galaxicon, which is a great freaking arcade. 62% gonna get over 3 hours of battery life. So yeah, if this was like fully charged, it probably would get like 5 to 6 hours of battery life here. And that's why I say it's an indie powerhouse, because I don't know about you all, but I love all these indie games that really you can't play too well on any other, like can't like knock off like devices. But you can play them like really like really good here. And that's the thing I should also mention. I forgot to say earlier that the support of this device, with Valve is fantastic. Yes, there's maybe like other devices out there that might be more powerful, but I really think they're overkill, and you're not going to have the support behind it from Valve. And what I mean by overkill is, yeah, you might be able to play some of those AAA games, but you're only going to get like an hour of battery life. Like, I mean, do you really want to do that? You're going to push some of these games, to the limits. And I really think for what's out there, you're still going to be able to play everything that you want to just fine on deck. So what do I mean by support? Well, there's been various games where Valve has stepped up and fixed it because the devs haven't, like The Witcher with the new DirectX 12. They went ahead and fixed that. I think, what was it, like The Division 2? There were just a few other games that they just went ahead and just gone in, and yeah, they just went ahead and just fixed it and patched it. I mean, what, like Nintendo was never going to do that. That's kind of my point. They're never gonna go ahead and go in and be like, oh, we'll just go ahead and fix it for you. No. They're gonna definitely put all that responsibility on the devs, but they've gone ahead and just stepped up and fixed it. And I'm trying to remember what other makers of consoles, have just gone in and just done that, fixed some other dev. But they're in this thing. They're making it easier for people to publish. I taken that initiative, and I think what's going to happen is you're going to see more and more newer games that are coming out, that you're going to see developers going ahead and optimizing them for Steam Deck, because they know that people there's a huge community and market for people playing these on deck. So they're going to go ahead and they're going to make the games play better on deck. I mean, it only just makes sense. So for me, my lifestyle and everything else, and the type of games I want to play, I love this thing. There's some games, and I think I've said this before, like actually like Galaxicon Retro Dodo didn't come to PS4, but they came, of course they're going to come to PC, and that's the nice thing. Everything comes pretty much to PC unless it's like some Sony exclusive, right? And there's just games I felt like I was missing out on. And it's a different type of store than the Switch or anything else, but for me, it's the perfect kind of store. It has all these different neat, weird, cool indie games, and then again, if I decide maybe when like Elden Ring Game of the Year goes on sale for $25 or so, with all the DLC and everything, yeah, I may pick it up. And I just, I really like that. The flexibility. And for me, this is mainly a retro and indie gaming console, and I couldn't, I couldn't be happier. New games are coming out all the time. I know I talked about sales. There's like Humble Bundle, Fanatical. You just don't see that in the console world. 'Cause I think in the console world, that somehow they've kind of created this illusion that, oh, you're buying a console, you're expected to pay premium for all these games, and I don't know why they do that to customers. versus just Valve is just like, yeah, we don't care as long as you get how you get a Steam key, as long as you get it legit. We don't care who you buy it from. If you buy it from us or another vendor, you can play it in our ecosystem, and that I think is fantastic. That's where some of the secret sauce is. That's where some of the magic happens. Um, and I think it's just super neat that they go ahead and do that. So definitely after having this months later, I still play this thing on a daily basis. I put a lot of hours into it. And actually, just to show you here, one of my favorite games that I've been, speaking of putting hours into it. Let me go back here. That is going to be... Oh, no. Come on, thing. Not that, although Coin-Ops X is really cool. Dead Cells. I put nearly 50 hours into this game alone, and this game just has me hooked. With the Castlevania DLC, oh, that's just, I freaking love that. It brings back nostalgia. I mean, I may have to do a separate video on that. That game is it's just so great. And then I can play classics like Contra. Yeah, I could go ahead and I can emulate it. But again, I picked this up on sale for under $4, and it's already done for me. I do want to dab more into emulation other than the Coin-Ops X. I think the only reason I haven't yet is I've just been super busy. And to be honest, when I mainly do my gaming more like in the later afternoons at night, and I'm like, I could copy everything over, I could get everything set up in EmuDeck, or I could just play a game. And usually every time I just end up jumping in and playing a game. So that's the reason why I haven't gotten into it. At some point, I do want to do that more, especially now since I have that plugin that I talked about where you can just copy files, directly to your deck from Windows. I'm going to go ahead and do it. And this doesn't fill the full 4:3 aspect ratio, but it still works for me. I get my auto fire. So yeah, I think there's lots of other YouTubers out there that have made videos on Steam Deck. It's been out now, for over a year. There's a lot of material out there for you to make a decision. For me, it was super smart. I feel lucky that I had the means to definitely go ahead and acquire it. This thing isn't cheap, but yeah, the 400 base model will do you fine, especially now with SD cards becoming, or SSDs I should say, becoming a lot more popular and cheaper and bigger capacity. You'll be able to upgrade your own. I definitely don't think it's worth paying for the bigger capacity unless you never want to go ahead and go inside this thing. And I guess I get it, but still, I feel like you're paying for someone else to go ahead and do it. So yeah, very happy with the deck. Very happy with the type of games. Very happy, with Valve and all their support. Very happy for the community. Having the decky loader is just icing on the cake. That's never going to happen with the Nintendo or Sony or Xbox. You're never going to allow third party to go ahead and do that because of the openness. I mean, this is built off of Linux, which is great. Valve really knows what they're doing, and I just want to say I think the greatest thing that Valve did is they took a chance, on the community. They took a big risk by coming out with this device, and the community has responded really well. People love this thing. And you got to do that for innovation and change. You got to take risks and chances. So many companies are just too super safe in their comfort zone. Like Nintendo, looking at you, I'm sorry, way too safe. I will say the other big thing I like is that yes, you own the games. Yes, there's the subscriber agreement and all that nonsense that you have with Valve, but you don't have to pay for it. And what I mean is, unlike Nintendo, with its retro game service, you can play a lot of their back catalog and all that, but you have to buy a yearly membership. And I hate the fact of renting games. I know that I think other publishers like Ubisoft, I'm trying to think of who else, where you can just pay a monthly fee for like the Ubisoft launch. You can rent their games, and I hate that. I don't want it to come to where nobody owns any games anymore, digital or physical. You have to rent everything as a service. I mean, come on, that's just being, way too greedy, in my opinion. And you can also even use if you want to use the Xbox service, you can stream that, use Xbox Live. But I do like the fact of downloading everything. locally. So is the Steam Deck itself perfect? No, no console is, but for me, I think it's really pretty damn close. Yes, there's some times where, you know, have I had to reboot the thing? Maybe start a game going to a black screen? Yes. Not gonna not gonna lie here. Like with this game, I can't do Alt F4 like on a PC, and I do have to go and exit it. But you know what? These are just little minor things. I wouldn't say that it's like any one thing that's broken or anything, you know. And it's very rare and far and few between, for these little quirkiness, um, that's on here. And oh yeah, almost forgot to say, the best thing when it comes down to it with the Steam Deck that I honestly have to say when I'm gaming on it, it's fun. There's honestly times where if I had to go and get up and play on my PC or maybe even play like on another console, I just don't I just don't know if I would do that. But this thing, oh, I just died right away. This thing here, it really makes that gaming experience fun, and I think that's the most important thing. You have something that's easy to use. You can play your games. It's fun. You can find games on sale. I really don't see what there's not to like. I mean, anything, there is just a high point to entry, but you know what? Once you've got the deck in your hands, you've got it. And at least with the sales, you can, you do have a little bit of a break. You can spend that extra money on some other games, or you can get yourself a micro SD card. Because to be honest, to get started, that's all you need. Get the $400 model on sale, that extra $40, get yourself a micro SD, and you'll be really 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 well on your way here. And I think you'll be happy that you did. I think the only person the Steam Deck is for is somebody who's looking to get a cheap PC, and they're just never going to play it in handheld mode, which I think is crazy because this thing is designed to be played in handheld mode. Otherwise, if you're looking for that portable device that you want to use, and you can dock it. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. In good shape. Now, last thing I just kind of wanted to show here, if I look at space, what I was getting at is I have a 512 micro SD card in here, and you can see on the internal drive, I have 13 gigabytes free. That's also because another 16 of that is partitioned using cryo, utilities for VRAM. I've got all my protons and everything moved over here. My micro SD card. You can see this 512 card. I still have 341 gig free, so I've only really used, 100 gigs, on this thing. And if we go back and look at my library here, under settings. It kind of helps if you know how to navigate. So if you look here, okay, these are all the games that I have installed. So we just kind of do a quick run through here. All these, I have 66 games installed, and they're just, taking up maybe like 100 gigs, and that also includes like CoinOpsX and a few other things. So yeah, it's just freaking incredible, and I'm really just amazed on how much I have stored here, and I still have plenty more, and that's why I say this is an indie game powerhouse. If you're looking to get this specifically for indie gaming, you're going to be in great hands. If you're looking this for all kinds of gaming, whether it's AAA and or indie gaming, I think you're also going to be in great hands. For me, it serves a great purpose. I can play games the way that I want to. I can customize games the way that I want to. And I couldn't be happier. Between this and an Evercade, this fulfills, everything else gaming in general. Evercade fulfills my collectability, having physical cards and other retro games. So between the two, I have everything that I need. And to be honest, I really don't necessarily need other consoles. I know, but if a Neo Geo AES fell into my lap, I would take it, or a TurboGrafx. But you know what I mean there. Those are luxury items as far as playing games, old and modern. I'm very, very happy, and if you stuck with me this far in the video and you want to show that you've watched the whole video, go ahead in the comments and put Void Prison, and let me know if you have a deck, if you're planning on getting a deck. If you're new to the channel, I appreciate you having here, and if you like this type of content, please go ahead and consider subscribing. Me and my buddy Retro Rich, we do a podcast every 2 weeks calling on Retro Gamers on this channel where we talk about everything retro gaming, modern stuff, breaking news, and Rich has also been doing a weekly arcade coin-op X video that I think you're really going to like. Thank you for sticking with me. Hope you all have a good one, and bye-bye.